start by saying congratulations. I absolutely fucking loved the movie.
Thank you.
I laughed my ass off. I definitely want to know, though, I heard that when the first, mind you, this is grapevine, so maybe I'm not right, but I heard the first version of the script was like a little longer than 120 pages. Let's throw it out there like that.
Oh, God. I mean, there were so many drafts of the script. Yeah. I probably wrote like 300 pages, like all together at different times.
I'm sure we started up there.
Yeah.
We probably were in 145, 148 at some point.
Well, I guess my question is, from where you first started to what people are seeing on screen, how much of the story and how much changed along the way? Was it anything dramatic, or was this pretty much what you were going after right from the get-go?
I would say this is pretty much what we set out to do, but I mean, there were a lot more jokes, more moments, like more plot, but I think we just cut away all the fat.
Yeah, it just got better. But you know, I tend to generally figure out the story and then not toss out the whole story. It's more like refining and figure out how to make the story work. I've never really said like, I'm tossing the third act. I've got a new vision. They go to a mountain. Like, I don't ever do that. Usually if I like the ending, it's all about just how do we get there correctly.
What did you guys learn from friends and family and test screenings that impacted the final cut of the film?
I had no friends see it. My sister and I were at some of the screenings, and yeah, it was. I mean, I've learned that you should treat the audience somewhat as gospel. Like, if they don't laugh, you can't explain to them why you thought it was funny. It's like,
and how harsh to make the character. How what material set up her train wreck lifestyle. What went too far, what didn't go far enough. Because we want you to understand her and like her and hope that she can heal herself. So there was some fine tuning in terms of what just the nastiest material was. Was your first cut of the film? Sorry for going geeky on this, but I'm trying not to ruin the jokes and
thanks.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how long was your first cut? Did you have a much longer version that you were like, oh, this is really good? And then all of a sudden you kept on refining it? Was there one that was 240 that you're like, oh, this is pretty good?
Well, every movie starts out around 240, and then we start shaving and figuring out where the story is. We usually start testing the movie at about 215, and then try to lose another 15 along the way. So it wasn't much different than how the other ones go.
I wanted it to be a Ken Burns documentary, but Judd wouldn't have it.
All the different Roosevelts.
Did you see that? I loved that.
Ken Burns makes good films.
Yeah.
He's a little bit talented.
A little bit.
You know what I mean? One of the things that really surprised me was LeBron James. I mean, he made
Why did it surprise you?
Yeah.
Why did it surprise you?
Because
he's obviously amazing.
Right, no, well, I knew he could play basketball, but I didn't realize he could do comedy so well. When did you guys first realize, hey, we're going to get LeBron James in this movie, and B, he's really funny?
I mean, I feel like we couldn't even believe it until the day he showed up on set that it was happening.
We didn't think it was going to happen. We thought we'd have to get a last-minute fill-in with some guy from the ABA. I'd just be trying to find some Nick from the 70s.
Right.
Does anybody have Glenn Gondrazik's phone number?
Where are the Globetrotters right now? And then we were shocked that he was so hilarious. I mean, Bill had done SNL with him and said he was really funny, but I think he surprised everybody with how down he was to play and how hilarious he was, and good at be a good actor on top.
And a nice guy.
I know.
I'm intimidated around athletes. Like when big athletes around, I get scared and nerdy. I don't speak their language.
Right.
And he's just a great guy, really fun. It was like having another comic on set who just happened to rule the world of basketball.
Yeah.
Did you notice you had a lot more friends and family visiting on those days?
Yes, I did notice
Children
that.
would be everywhere.
Chris Rock showed up, Paul Rudd. We were like, we've been filming this for months, and you guys haven't been here.
Yeah, Chris Rock never shows up on my sets. That's just never happened before. I don't know what it was about that day.
What a coincidence that LeBron was there. Yeah.
How much? Obviously, I've seen you work, and you like to throw out alt lines, and I have not seen you work yet on set. But I'm very curious. It seems like you had a great script, but it also seems like you must have brought a lot of funny on the day.
For sure.
So can you sort of talk about how many do you think alt jokes were the ones that ended up in the film? Do you have like 20 different versions of every line that's like a line-orama that's coming, down the road?
I don't know. I mean, like, it's so collaborative on set, and so, like, sometimes when we watch a screening of it, I'll be like, whose joke was that? And Judd might be like, yours, or maybe, like, I don't. Yeah, it's hard to remember. But
there's certain jokes where you go, oh, this is, if we're making fun of the guy in the opening scene she's about to have sex with, and he has a large member. We know that could be one of any number of jokes, so maybe we shot 25 different comments. And maybe 10 of them work, and then we just have to pick one.
Pick our favorites.
One that we didn't use is, Amy said, does that thing sleep in hay?
Can you run? Yeah. Yeah, we were just like, and then how many is too many before too many tags. But no, there was an abundance of jokes and alts for everything.
This was your first time working in New York, as far as I know, in terms of making one of your films.
Wait a second. You don't mess with the Zohan.
How dare you?
Right.
Come on, Collider.
Co-writer. Boom.
The blam.
Sure, but you behind the camera doing a lot.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there. What was the experience like for you, and is it something that you think that like you want to explore New York further in the future, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just appropriate to Amy's story, and Amy is from New York. I'm actually from Long Island as well, and we couldn't get a LA tax break, or I would have tried to force Amy to do it there in the Valley. No, it seemed right for the magazine world to be in New York, and it was great to just shoot something completely different. I mean, LA looks like LA, so after a while, it all just looks like a block around the corner from my house. So it's nice to have skylines and bridges and water, and it's fun to try to figure out ways to shoot it that haven't been done before. Jody Lee Lipes was our cinematographer who did the first season of Girls and Lena's movie Tiny Furniture, and he's just a brilliant.
And Martha, Marcy,
Maury, and he's just an incredible DP. So the movie looks beautiful, and it's shot on film. No one wants to shoot on film anymore, but we thought that would be more appropriate for a romantic comedy in New York.
I can't even imagine how many feet you used on. Is it 1 million too?
I don't know what we did this time. I don't know if we shot 1 million feet of film.
1 billion.
Usually they give me a bottle of champagne or something and mock me when I hit 1 million. So I don't know.
One of the things, I'm a huge Woody Allen fan. I mean, I love his work, and there's a little moment. I don't want to reveal anything, but some Woody Allen stuff. A little homage or nod.
Sure.
How much does Woody Allen mean to the two of you in terms of film? Did you grow up loving? And this is a random question, but did you grow up loving Woody's work? Was it something that you're filming in New York? We have to nod to him.
I grew up loving Woody Allen. Deconstructing Harry is like one of my favorite comedies ever, and I mean, it seems like almost impossible to avoid paying your respects. And I'm sure you lived for him.
I'm a Jew from Long Island. There's a lot of Woody Allen in the house.
Talk a little bit. This was your first big movie. You got to work.
My first movie. I've been in like 2.
Right. So I'm very curious. What you learned. What advice if you could go back to the first day of filming? Yeah. Is there any advice you would give yourself that you wish you knew then? Is there any advice that you're going to take away for a future film?
I feel like any anxiety I had, or as hard as I worked, because it would be like, it's gonna be cool, but I learned to trust Judd implicitly, and I learned the things that I learned while we were filming. I think it was good for me to have that kind of tension and that drive to get my story across. So I don't think I would tell myself anything. I would tell myself that you're gonna look okay on camera, so don't worry about that. But no, I think everything else, it was good that I figured it out when I did.
I kind of have to wrap with you, but I have to bring up one thing. Probably a lot of people might give you shit, but I'm not one of them. I applaud what tweets you might be saying about a certain person who's clearly having had has
Justin
done.
Bieber. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to go to something else, but I wanted to say that I support you 100% in your endeavors online to raise awareness on a certain individual who will not go.
You mean Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I'm specific.
Well, I think,
If you say his name 3 times, he
I'm not trying to like cause controversy. I'm trying to be.
I don't think it's controversial. I mean, I think if somebody rapes people, they should be shunned or in jail, and we should listen to women so that they continue to speak up. I think if you ignore women, then when they're violently attacked, they'll say, I'm not going to speak up because no one's going to listen to me. So it's important that everybody supports all of these women.
I 1,000% agree. I don't know what percentage we can go to, but I'm just very happy that someone in the limelight is saying something because it really needs to be said. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.